Ubuntu 26.04 Resolute Raccoon is officially here, but does it actually deserve a space on our hard drive? Today I am putting this LTS version onto VirtualBox sandbox, and we will see what has changed on Ubuntu's site. To get started, we are heading to the ubuntu.com. Now you will see two main choices for the 26.4 LTS: Intel AMD 64-bit architecture and ARM. If you are running VirtualBox on standard Windows PC or older Intel-based Mac, you have to select Intel or AMD 64-bit architecture, often labeled as AMD 64. Even if you have an Intel CPU, this is a standard cross-compatible image. However, if you are on older Mac, Apple Silicon Mac M1, M2, M3 using virtualization software, you will go for the ARM architecture, ARM image. But for our Resolute Raccoon today, we are sticking to the 64-bit PC. This is the version mostly used by the enterprise world we will be deploying, and it's the one we are going to push the limit. And I'm downloading this image. It's around 66 gigabytes. It's increasing on every version naturally. Clocking it nearly 6 gigabytes. The ISO file itself is getting heavier. That's a lot of modern to pack into a single installer. And yeah, as you know, Ubuntu has switched to snap packaging, and it's taking much more size. Other than that, if you are downloading this ISO file for your company or enterprise or your serious business, you may verify the checksum to ensure the ISO hasn't been tampered with or corrupted during the download for the safety. You can verify from this link, and you need to copy this bash script on your, you can use it on your terminal or on Git terminal on Windows if you are running on Windows. We should get the following output, just okay. Yeah. Once the download is done, we will move to VirtualBox and configure every screen. Yeah, here the result. ISO file is original and okay. VirtualBox is up. Now let's boot the VM for the Raccoon. I'm creating a new machine. New, and VM name will be Ubuntu 26.4 LTS. ISO image will be the latest ISO file, not unattended. Now pay attention to the hardware settings. OS distribution and version already found by VirtualBox itself. Guest additions, we can do it later. Base memory, as I said before, 6 gigabyte is the minimum requirement, but of course you can install on 4 gig machine, but it will not perform good, I guess. I'm going to be generous and give it 8 gigabytes for this test. Okay, perfectly 8 gigabytes. I want to see if the system is actually efficient or just resource hungry. I'm giving 4 cores. In 2026, dual core is the bare minimum, but for a smooth experience, we want that extra headroom. Finally, okay, this is the 25 gigabyte. I guess it's okay, but I will give 32. Finish, and I just want to set up display video memory. I will give 128. Monitor is, and I will enable 3D acceleration because it's using Wayland and want to test Gnome 50 desktop features. I am skipping unattended installation. I want to see every step of the installer myself. Ubuntu says 25 gig is the absolute minimum, but once you start adding snap and logs, that space vanishes fast. Let's start with Ubuntu 26 powering the VM. Says try or install Ubuntu. Yes, I'm trying to make it bigger. vMU GFX seems to be running unsupported hypervisor because I'm running on VirtualBox. Okay, still processing. This error happens because the VirtualBox VM SVGA driver is not fully supported by the Ubuntu 26.04. Okay, great. Can I make it bigger? Okay, let's continue from this screen. I'm choosing English here, and seeing high contrast, large text. I'm doing large text to see all of us easily. Keyboard layout US, keyboard variant US, you can change as your configuration and you can test the characters. This is standard Ubuntu setup as previous releases. Wired connection, install Ubuntu, try Ubuntu. I'm going to install Ubuntu. And interactive installation, we can also automate if we are install it to lots of machines, or there's also automated with landscape options. Default selection or extended selection, we can choose every package at the end of installation, but I'm using the default selection here. Install third-party software for graphics and Wi-Fi hardware, yes. Also MP3, MP4, MOV, and additional media formats, yes. Erase disk and install Ubuntu. And now we have reached the encryption and file system. And I want to just install it on VirtualBox. I will choose no encryption. But if you are install it on a laptop or a company mission, or you need more security, you can click hardware-backed encryption or encrypt with a passphrase. That is also important now. Ubuntu 26.04 supporting the TPM2 encryption natively. Previously, it was an experimental feature, but now it's supporting. And other advanced options are use LVM without encryption, use the ZFS without encryption, or encrypt with a passphrase using ZFS, but these two last options are experimental. By the way, ZFS are very powerful file system with snapshots, and you can use it on real machines. I will go with no encryption and ext4. My name. Okay. Password. And verification. I choose easy password. I don't need to use Active Directory. Okay, I'm based in Munich. And this is the review summary of my choices. Ext4 will be used. SDA will be boot, and SDA2 will be Ubuntu partition. I'm pushing install. We can see the installation script logs here. And meanwhile, installing Ubuntu is giving us information about changes. Ubuntu 26.04 actually is moving away from traditional deb packages, deb installation components. It's not just installing the software, it's also setting up the snap environment for load-bearing system parts like the audio stack. This is the most controversial change in this Resolute release. Can I resize this? No. Okay, the installation is complete. Now, before I hit this restart, now here's a pro tip for VirtualBox users. We need to remove the ISO from the CD drives, remove disk from restart now. Okay, we are now restarting for activation guest editions, and we will continue from the updated softwares. Okay, now it's much better. The other changes, as I partly mentioned, Ubuntu replaced system components with versions written in Rust, a memory-safe programming language. Sudo is now provided by Sudo-RS, and when you sudo apt install something blah blah, it will display asterisks instead of nothing. This is one of the changes, and whole core utils, GNU core utils replaced with Rust core utils written in Rust. That means ls, grep, cat are now working with Rust versions, but cp, mv, and rm are not replaced yet, but probably they will also replaced. Other than that, of course, there are some theme changes. We have new wallpaper. There are also new icons for LibreOffice as well, but I guess it's not installed. And radius values are changed. It's much more circular, like new macOS. And we have 7 new default apps. This is another big change. The first one is Papers. Previously, Document Viewer was events for displaying PDFs and other documents. And it's replaced with Papers. This Papers application can write into PDFs as well. Okay, I'm downloading a sample PDF. When we click this PDF, it will open with Papers. And the menu is here, document program. We can sign digitally. This is another change. Yeah, this is Papers. And image viewer now is Loupe, replaced with Loupe. For example, if I save this image under the downloads, it will open with Loupe or Loop. I don't know how it pronounced. It looks like a French word. Image viewer. Yeah, this is brand new image viewer of the Gnome 50. And as I noticed in the beginning, the default terminal replaced with a PTY XIS. This is new Gnome terminal. It supports multiple tabs. It's coming with Gnome 50. This one as well. This is GitLab site. And resources, yes, that's the one of the biggest changes. System proofs, disks, advanced network configuration, utilities, image viewer, resources. This is new system monitor. It shows all processes, service and hardware overview. It's very colorful. Drive, Ethernet connection, CD, GPU usage, memory, processor, process, and another new applications show time, but we need to install it. It's replaced with Totem media player, default video player, I mean. And we have a new security center. Privacy security center. Interesting. Ubuntu Pro is not available for this Ubuntu version. Ubuntu Pro requires an LTS release. But this one is LTS release. I'm pretty sure it's a LTS release. Ubuntu 26.04 LTS. This is interesting. Probably a glitch or bug. Encryption settings are not available because I didn't enabled on the installation. But this is interesting. I will check this later. And file manager is also replaced. Files. This is, they say it's 5 times faster than previous version on thumbnail generation. Not totally, but on the thumbnail generation. It's faster 10 times. For directory loading, it's 5 times faster. We have now notifications as grouped. Now everything installed with this App Center. I don't like this feature. They are forcing to use their own application center, and it's installed with a Snap package system. The Snap packages are spending too much drive space. Other than that, for example, if you try to run OBS, you cannot easily install plugins or some other things, and there are still some issues on the communication between other packages with Snap packages. I really don't like this thing with Ubuntu. I am always trying to install APT versions of the software, but probably I need to switch another distro in the future because this will be main packaging system. Other than that, we have another change on Ubuntu Dock. Ubuntu Dock is no longer transparent. It's always opaque. On the desktop, yeah, we can still hide panel mode as macOS. Remove icons and move to another monitor, but it's no longer transparent. There's a hack for it with a console comment. Now, quick don't disturb toggle, move to quick settings menu here to silence distractions. That's a good feature. Also, some improvements with HDR support. Now Gnome 50 is supporting HDR monitors, but you need also support from your applications as well. Also, VRR variable refresh rate, another feature for monitors. This is actually VirtualBox, but on the native installation, it will show much more refresh rates. There are also some remote desktop improvements, well-being controls, time tracking, screen time features. These are the new backgrounds coming with the new 26.4 LTS. Yeah, there is no software and update tools. In previous versions, when search update applications, when you enter update to search bar, there were two applications, software update and software sources. Now they removed that software sources applications or applet. And update firmware update tool still exists. Also, startup applications. This tool also removed, but you can reach it from settings and default apps and settings applications. You can click auto start and it will run on the startup. Yeah, this new LTS also brings NVIDIA CUDA and AMD ROCm computing stacks support. Other than that, change coming with Linux kernel 7. The biggest changes are actually coming with Gnome 50 and kernel 7. That's why this new version coming with lots of changes. Meanwhile, I want to check how much memory used by the system. Yeah, minus H for human compatible view. Yeah, 2.5 gigabyte by memory, 4.8, but it's a little bit higher than previous versions, I can say, because everything is closed. I just running this terminal with the graphical user interface, and yeah, it's using much more memory than before. Also, the well-being, it's displaying screen time here, eyesight reminders, moment reminders that exist from previous regular versions, and also settings about system, software rendering, Wayland. It's using Wayland. So here is the final audit. Ubuntu 26.04 is a technical powerhouse, but it is no longer lightweight Linux we used to know. If you are on modern hardware and want to absolute latest drivers, latest kernel performance and gaming tweaks like anti-sync, HDR, this is a solid fresh install. But if you are currently running 24.4 LTS for your daily work, you may stay put and wait a bit longer for some patches. The Resolute Raccoon is a milestone, but it's a heavy one. Ubuntu is going to their own OS way, I guess. It seems actually because they are changing GNU utils with Rust ones, and they are making radical changes on their Linux flavor. We will see in next releases. I really don't like this snap changes. Snap system, it's consuming too much spaces, and when you install an update, it's keeping the last two versions of your software on the disk as a backup. I also created a missing garbage collector for Ubuntu snaps. It's on the GitHub, Snapman, the name, and you can get rid of unnecessary snap versions with that applications. I am trying to put it on the Ubuntu software store, but we have some regulation issues because it's using some sudo commands. Well, thanks for watching my first look at the Resolute Raccoon 26.4. If this video helped you, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe for more open source and Linux tests and tech tips. It's free and it helps my channel grow. Let me know in the comments, are you thinking upgrading to the latest LTS 26.4 or waiting? And your comments as well. See you in the next one. Stay technical. Bye.